Hi, I'm George Fennel, Steel Shield Technologies and Weapon Shield. And been promising every month we're going to do a series of videos on the use of the Weapon Shield products. And today we're going to start out by telling you a little bit about the Weapon Shield, as well as showing you how to clean and maintain one of your, well, we're going to use the rifle first, an AR-15. We'll show you that first. And if we have time today, we'll go ahead and we'll incorporate it, show you how to clean 1911, how Weapon Shield is used in those areas. Everybody says what makes Weapon Shield so special. Quite a lot. Weapon Shield is not at all like any other oil. If you feel other oils, one of the best ways that I could tell you to tell the difference is to put a drop of oil on your finger and feel it, and then take a drop of Weapon Shield and put it on your other finger. Compare the two. Instantly you'll notice that the Weapon Shield feels silky. It feels totally different. The the oil will feel oily and it'll feel slimy. And what's caused by, or what causes that, in our case, is the surface spread characteristics of the base oils and the advanced boundary film ingredients that are in there that impart the highest amount of lubrication that you can impart to the metal and polymer surfaces. So what I could tell everybody is interested in what makes it so special. Pick some up. It's not that much. Try it yourself. Any one of our distributors at weaponshield.com, and go to the order online section on there. Everybody from Brownells to Midway USA and private stocking distributors. We have a statewide list that's expanding on there too. So it's an easy product to find. You can even do just a quick search on Google or Bing or any of the search engines, and lots of distributors will come up. So the first thing I like to do is we'll cover the AR-15, show you how to, I'm not going to show you how to break down your rifle. If you have an AK-47 or if you have a AKM or any of the variant styles, there's plenty of videos on YouTube that show you basically how to take it down and put it back together. So if that's what you're looking for, you'll have to go somewhere else, but then come back and check out, because basically cleaning the weapons, one is the same as the other. First rule of thumb is always clean for the breech end, never clean from the chamber end. You don't want to mess up the crown or take any chances on destroying or basically harming the end of the bore and the barrel. So in the case of the AR-15, by the way, this is a LWRC. It's one of my favorite rifles, and it was designed by my good friend Paul Leitner Wise. And Paul has another company now, which is Leitner Wise Manufacturing, and Paul, in my estimation and in my opinion, is one of the geniuses of the industry, constantly innovating his weaponry. And he will actually take your LWRC, which he's no longer a part of, and for a mere, I think it's around $75, he will upgrade the gas system on these and give you back a weapon that is very, very functional. And even without that upgrade, these are really awesome. But that upgrade just takes it one notch higher. So thanks, Paul, for all your efforts in the industry. Anyhow, the first thing to do, I mean, you can break it down by just pulling your pin, and of course you expose then your lower receiver and your upper receiver. It's probably a little simpler and easier just to pull your front pin too and separate your two components, so you have your upper and your lower. People basically will, wonder what's in here to do and what's in here to fix. Well, this is pretty easy. Cleaning these is not a big thing, because really the blowback gases and everything from the bolt operation don't get down into your trigger group. So this stays pretty clean. But to properly lubricate it, you always, and all of mine have the JP fire control system from John Paul, which is another good friend of mine in the industry. I've known John for about 20 years, and his stuff is just phenomenal, along with Timothy Ubel, who used to work for John Paul. And Tim's got a Tacom. He's got some great products too that I use quite a lot of. I use his buffer system in my 300 Blackout, and it's fantastic. But going back here, you want to take, this is why we make put the Weapon Shield in the pen oiler. It helps you get down into these areas where you can actually apply a drop of oil into all of the integral pins and even your safety selector switch. You oil that in the inside, oil it on the outside, move it up and down a couple of times. If you drop your hammer down and put a drop down in on your sear and on your secondary sear and your hammer hook, it will actually, the weapon shield's unique properties of the advanced boundary film will take and lighten that from 1/2 to 1 pound on the trigger pull, just by itself. So the lubrication properties of the ABF are pretty phenomenal when you do that. It's very simple to take care of. You can also lubricate your pins, put a drop of oil on each one of your pins, move them in and out, and just lubricate it. Lubricate also your magazine releases along with your bolt release. There's just little places where, you know, anytime you have a journal or an area that comes together where a pin's located, just put a drop of oil on it and you're lubricated. Just work it in a little bit. The one thing you find about weapon shield spread characteristics are very unique. It will actually crawl and creep into areas and actually move uphill. Unlike most oils, which basically will drain downward, weapon shield will find its way into areas that you want it to go into, all those critical areas. Moving on to the upper receiver, basically what we want to do now is take and pull your bolt carrier group out, and by doing that we release and drop out your essential components here. The bolt carrier group is very, that's kind of an interesting animal too. To break it down, I think most of you know how. You'll see it on YouTube. If you don't know what this is, your boyfriend's a girlfriend and all that. But this basically is your bolt carrier. To essentially break it down, you pull the pin out of here. This will then allow you to release the bolt retainment pin, and you can break that apart and clean it very easily, put it back together. Once again, lube it up real well. This is the nickel boron, I believe, bolt carrier group that comes with these. In my applications for years, I've used a toothbrush, and believe me, it pays off. The reason, this is a sponge. This is going to take all of your good product and suck it up. Where it should be on your weapon, it's going to be in here. People say, you're crazy, George, because you should recommend this. That way you're going to sell more product at a higher rate of speed. Believe me, ethics are more important, customer service, and my goal is to get everyone using weapon shield. And if everyone's using weapon shield, I don't really have to care how fast they use it. I'll own the market, which someday I hope to. The toothbrush basically allows you to disperse it on your weapon, in your weapon, and all the areas that the toothbrush can reach in such a manner that you're not wasting it, and you're dispensing it across the surface. The way we do that is you can use your needle applicator, or you can just put a couple of drops on your toothbrush. Of course, don't use this for brushing your teeth. I don't know if I have to say that or not, but this way you can actually apply it to all the areas that you need to on the surface, and it moves the weapon shield around everywhere you need to be. Now, I haven't had a chance to go out and shoot this and get it real dirty and everything, but if this was dirty, we'd have tore this apart. We'd have taken it and used the weapon shield, which is a cleaner as well, and it would lift the dirt. People ask me about the solvent. Well, then why the solvent if this is a full cleaner, lubricant, and preservative, which basically I was honored a couple of years ago by the guys on the M4Carbine.net who said this is the first true CLP to hit the market. All the others seem to have lacked in one capacity or another in cleaning, lubing, and protecting. But the reason I come out with a weapon shield solvent is that people basically have been after me for years to get something that's really quick and really aggressive for burnt powder. If they want to just flush it and wash it off and not have to waste all their oil and everything, which that's understandable. This is it. The reason it took me a while to do that or to come out with it is that all of our products, everything that we have no volatiles in them, which are no flammables and no active Well, volatile is anything that has an active component that is of high absorbency to the skin, or basically is flammable and has health hazards and health risks involved. My products don't have volatiles in them. None of them. They're environmentally friendly. And until we developed with another corporation a base solvent that has no volatiles, that is essentially in the combustible region and not the flammable region, I wouldn't make it. Once we had this, then we said, okay, we have the essence to do what we want to do. We can still keep it environmentally friendly. We can keep it user friendly and healthy, so that you don't have to worry about these products around animals, children, or yourself. It's not recommended to drink, of course, although we've had people call up and say, oh, my husband accidentally drank some, is it going to hurt him? Nah, it's that safe. But like I said, it doesn't taste great, and you might feel yourself very regular for a day or two, but I wouldn't recommend drinking them at all. Anyhow, the solvent, like I said, now we have the basis of something that we can use to clean very quickly, very rapidly, and if you need to, flush it. Just gush it on there and let it flow off. The solvent also, being as non-volatile as it is and being as user-friendly as it is, actually will remove lead. It removes copper and gilded metals. It does it all. Like, it doesn't do it right now. Like if you go buy something that's meant for copper and has ammonia in it, this doesn't have ammonia in it. The ammonia is going to clean very quickly. Ammonia will clean rapidly and get the copper out by a chemical dissolution. This is going to lift it out a little bit slower, so you got to give this a little time to get the gilded metals out, but you don't have to worry about the ammonia attacking your base metal, which it will if you leave it in too long, as most of the instructions of all that stuff say, use it only for a brief period, get it out of your weapon, neutralize the weapon. This will allow you great advantages in cleaning if you decide to go this route and use it as the cleaner, which I'll show you. We're going to use that too. But this can be used, this is a full CLP, weapon shield, no problem at all. I have the other two sizes, or the other size sitting here. We have our 1 ounce weapon shield solvent and weapon shield CLP, and we have our 4 ounce. What a lot of people actually prefer, they like this for the shooter's bag, they like this for the bench at home, but I know people that carry this in their shooter's bag as well. But these 1 ounce versions, I think of those of you who have used weapon shield for some time know just how far it goes and how long it lasts. It's incredible for that. A little bit goes a long way. You don't need much at all. But going back to our upper receiver, since we stripped this down, in cleaning the bore of the upper receiver in the chamber area, most everybody knows if you got really a high carbon buildup in there, this is used in order to get down into your bolt lock area, and the bolt locks, put it on, of course, it goes on the end of your cleaning rod, and you can go in there and break that loose, spray some solvent down in there, break it all loose, and then go in with a pretty much a patch and get it all out of there and pull it out. To do the bore, I've often recommended using, this is a 22 bore brush, but I don't use it by itself. What we do is we'll take a 22 patch and we'll wrap that around the bore brush very tightly. Depends on which way you wrap it too. I'm wrapping it the wrong way. Kind of at an angle, and then wrap it and get it tight like that. And the phosphor bronze little bristles will actually hold that patch on there. But what it does, it allows, when you put the solvent or the weapon shield on that patch, we'll take and just spray a little on here. That's a little. There we go. It allows the brush, which is gauged to the size of the bore, to push out on the patch and force the solvent and force, or the CLP, whichever you're using, force it more into the lands, into the base of the lands, so that you get a quicker and a more in-depth cleaning action. And like I said, going from the bore, what we want to do is just go right up through there, hit the chamber area, and then push that clear through. Now a lot of people would say, don't pull it back through. I don't see any harm in it if it's not that dirty. Go ahead and pull it back through. Now your patch at that point probably is going to be pretty black. So, thing to do is get another patch, do the same thing. Go ahead and wrap that. And once again, soak it down. And just shove that right up through your bore. What happens too, I think a lot of you'll find, is when you're pushing something through the rifling will cause a twist to occur, and it'll undo your rod and undo your cleaning end. So a lot of people will prefer just to take that off and then to remove that here. The other way to do it, which people like to do it, is just to take a standard patch end for holding the patch. Once again, take your patch, put it through here. Make sure it's the right size for your weapon. Don't use a 22 cleaning patch on a 308. It just doesn't work. Once you get it in there, go up through, put it through your bore, and run it backwards, and then take it out. I don't suggest going in and scrubbing back and forth, because you're just going to redistribute the dirt and the burnt powder and the fouling. But after you've done that, do that a couple of times, either with the patched brush or with the patch itself. Do it until you get almost, I guess, since it's a clean rifle, this kind of a yellowish gray looking patch. That's clean. You'll know when it's clean, I guarantee you. Check your bore, check your chamber area, and making sure that everything is clear and you can see down through it. You might want to use a bore inspection device, or however you do to do that. Putting it back together, pretty simple. Once you get it cleaned, take your charging rod, put that in. Take your bolt carrier group, push it down and seat it. And then well, that makes a difference. We got to get that wide open. Put your lower receiver in. You're rocking and rolling, ready to go. And you have a clean weapon. That's how simple it is to use Weapon Shield and Weapon Shield Solvent, whichever you prefer. Okay.